Hi, and welcome to Rise, Heal, and Grow. I'm Leah M. Hill. This show is a podcast production of Apollo Sunrise Center, which is a holistic wellness retreat center in Merrimack, Massachusetts, which offers interactive experiences for learning, transformation, and growth. On this show, we shine the light on those who nurture wellness and inspire positive change. My guest today is Sarah Stray. She is of Boxless Coaching, and she is an Akashic Records healer and soul activator. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here.
I feel like I should add I'm Sarah J. Stray, and we can have the importance of anchoring with our middle initials in our names.
Because I'm Leah M. Hill, right? Yes, and I do that for specific reasons. Yes. So I imagine you also add the J.
It's got the nice cadence to it.
Yes. All right, Sarah J. Stray. Sarah J. It's got a little flow to it too. I like it. So I'm sure everybody wants to know about the work that you do in Akashic Records, but I do want to find out, because I'm always curious about how people get to where they are today. The origin story. Just like the journey. Exactly. But you did have a 20+ year career in the nonprofit world? Wow.
Yeah, event planning, conference planning,
wow.
Youth
innovation,
education, pedagogy. And yet it doesn't feel like a very far step into this work. Hindsight is 2020. Really?
Okay.
I had so many people when I left my not-for-profit career say, why don't you go be a coach, Sarah? And I was like, that feels right.
Okay, the coaching
part.
So
absolutely. I've always been very clear knowing and had that as my lens and how I navigated the world.
That's
and
so cool.
woo adjacent for many, many years, right?
Okay.
So my husband and I joke that the night we
Woo
met,
adjacent,
20-something years ago, he said, I'm a little new agey. And I said, oh, me too.
Oh,
so
that's cool.
Yeah, so
really
I have
cool.
always been
each other.
an explorer and recipient of deep, deep energy work. And then, you don't have to wait for something to be super wrong to know it's not right. And so that point came.
But sometimes we do, right?
Right?
We wait anyway.
And so I left my not-for-profit career, a little burnout, a lot of burnout, and then just in that open space, started to really deeply explore and go full-on woo metaphysical journeyness.
But that took a lot of courage, I bet, to be able to do that. I mean, were you like, how is this going to work? What am I going to do?
Yes and no. And I think that maybe that brings up a good point, is that most of our brains, most of the time, when we are on the cusp of something new or change, stops us and goes, well, how are we going to do that?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
and
totally.
So I think that I just kept saying yes to what unfolded in front of me. And maybe that took a lot of courage.
I think so.
But it also felt
so.
like the most natural thing in the world to find the Akashic Records and have that be my modality of choice.
All right. So you were following the path the flow of life, and it worked out very well for you.
Yeah, it did.
Because it led you to where you are now. So you'll have to explain to everybody what the Akashic Records are.
Yes. So the Akashic Records, the metaphor that most people are familiar with them is that they are the library of your soul.
Yeah.
They're the information arm of Source, is the easiest, most concise explanation of them. And so what that means is you can ask anything in your Akashic Records and receive an answer that is coming from truth of your soul, truth of Source. They are a very high vibrational place, just to throw in some woo terms. So let me know if you ever want me to define anything, but very high vibrational energy. And by accessing them, I move my consciousness into them. And then when I'm in front of a group, giving a workshop or giving a one-on-one reading, then my heart is connecting to yours, and that is where the information is coming from. And so in that way, I'm a channel. 99% of what happens during an Akashic Record healing session is coming directly from a person's Akashic Record keepers. Those are the light beings that hold the records for us.
This is so big for some of us to kind of grasp. Okay, so I feel like we need to unpack
me as
this
well
a
at the
little bit,
beginning. Let's
because
unpack it.
This is so deep because, first of all, when we think of like a library, we think about a bunch of old books collecting dust on the shelf. Yeah. But what you're saying is this is an actual, like a living field of energy?
It's absolutely a living field.
Field of energy. It's not just stored information.
No, because everyone is changing all the time.
All the time,
right?
yes.
Are the records held outside of time and space? Yes, right? That's another big
That's
concept.
another one to get. I know. We have to get
that
that
3D
too.
time linear is kind of only on Earth.
Yeah.
And so, you know, a lot of people think about Akashic Records as maybe the place you only ask about past lives. Future life stuff could come up.
Yeah. Okay.
And when we're healing in the records, we are doing it at the moment that happened in your past, and then clearing and carrying that energy forward. And so it's super wild to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
Because the healing is instant, right? And
yes.
if maybe the more metaphysical listeners have heard of the quantum, right?
Right.
You could. That's where the Akashic Records are held, as like it's part of the quantum,
which
means everything is possible there.
Yeah, and that's what's so amazing. I mean, I have limited experience with the Akashic Records. I know that sometimes when I've done private sessions with people, work with them, I see what looks to me like a library or a room, and I can sometimes see if the person has, I'll say, like closed a chapter or closed a book, and they've completed that or healed it, as you said, and then it kind of like closes, ends, and completes for them, and it's really amazing to me because I've also seen in my own Akashic Records, I've had the ability to do that. And we did it when I attended the workshop that you did, the last workshop that you did at Apollo Sunrise Center, which I had a profound experience of healing. That was amazing, really amazing. And I love that what you mentioned is that it's like clear divine truth, because
absolutely.
We feel like, you know, especially someone who, you know, is intuitive or someone who's like just learning their intuition, it's so hard to trust what you're getting. Like, is it true? Is it accurate? Am I making this up? You know, how do I know this?
And there's a couple of ways that the Akashic Records make that really easy. So for somebody that's new coming to the records or is curious enough to get a reading, the Akashic Records will always meet you where you need to be for your highest and best truth. And so if you don't have, you know, a lot of knowledge about galactic history or lives, and that's not part of your belief system, you're not going to come in for a reading and have them go like, let's talk about your first Arcturian lifetime, because that's the basis of all what's happening right now. No, they're absolutely going to meet you where you are.
That's very good to
so
know.
Whatever, and they're a tool for now. And so the questions that, you know, I would say clients prepare are about your life on the here and now.
Right.
And we never relive any past trauma. And
that's also helpful to know.
Yes, and so whatever I am seeing in the records, I'm always translating with a grain of how is this going to hit the client's heart? Yeah. And if it's really visceral or something traumatic, then I say the record keepers, give me another way to say this, show this to me a different way. Like, so I'm always in constant communication. Okay. And the record keepers anchor in a lot of visuals. And so even though it can clear in an instant, most people, or a lot of people, need a little bit of help in that beliefness. And so we'll anchor in with a clearing visual so that person has a cognitive memory of what the actual clearing energetically has been, if that makes sense.
That does. So, so we have the record keepers that you mentioned. Do we all have different record keepers, or are they all?
We all have about a dozen or so, sometimes less, sometimes more. They're unique to you.
They are.
Could we have a record keeper overlap? Sure.
Yeah.
But they're just there with your best at heart.
So you, as the medium, the channel, you're connecting with the record keepers to get the information. Let's say what does this person need to know now? What needs to be healed now? And as you said, it sounds like once you have this awareness or this information, the healing just happens.
I will ask the record keepers,
Okay.
is it ready to be healed?
Okay.
Right?
So you
So
check
there's
that
a little
first.
bit of consent
Yep.
involved in that. And we're always taking it to the root cause. And so it's information, like what might they need to know about this situation?
Yeah.
Let's say they're asking about some relationship strife, right?
Okay.
And so
Right.
that might be, we look at a pattern across, okay, you're always helping people too much. And what does
Yeah.
that look like? And that unfolds. Or we might say, well, what's this soul contract with this individual that you're talking about? Because that can reveal
Right.
the learning, the karma that they're here to learn about that.
Yep.
So it can unfold in all of these
That's fantastic.
multi-layered, beautiful ways and heal.
But
karma,
it can happen,
ancestry.
yeah,
Yep.
all of those things coming into place, and that
Yep.
can happen in the session, is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's what
super
I think
quick.
people, like you said, have a hard time like believing or understanding. Like, is that really like? All right, so I've had this issue, let's say, with the repeated patterns of difficult relationships or challenging relationships for all these lifetimes, and now you're saying I can, I can heal it like that.
Absolutely.
And you can.
And it shows up the next day in a different situation, right?
Right.
You know, if it's a partner or spouse and
Yeah.
it's an intimacy issue or a trust issue, then it's just going to feel softer and easeful, and your heart is going to be more open to the partner that next day, and the kind of inner monologue that was trapping you and whatever the thing was just fades.
It's gone.
It's just gone.
That's
it's like you can't
so
grasp
amazing.
it anymore.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It really is. It's totally cool. I love this. I love this. And you talk about too that this soul expansion gap. And I think you were alluding to it a while ago when you were talking about how we kind of like get, but you can describe it probably better than I can. Like we get to the place where we're like, okay, we're about to step off the cliff, but are we going to fly? That kind of thing.
Of course you're going to
fly.
Can you explain
that?
So the soul expansion gap, I guess, was a term that I coined because I saw it a lot in clients. I think it's absolutely what I myself experienced as I, mustered the courage and went on a new path. I think too much in the coaching and healing industries, people talk about being stuck and, discontent,
Yeah.
That can be true. And it could be that something is just pulling you forward.
Oh.
Right? And so a deeper soul truth, a deeper opening to something.
Okay.
It's happening more and more because so many people are awakening. I'm glad you took the word out of my mouth. Yeah. It's happening so much that people are awakening to their healing gifts, their truths. And so you can feel that on a non-cognitive level.
Okay.
In your heart, you might just start having more thoughts about something. And yet your soul is always ready to make you big and bold and expansive. And then it's our cognition.
Right. We're like, oh no.
that we go, how are we going to do that? Right. And so that's the gap I'm talking about. It's really between your soul really trying to expand and get you there and all of our kind of conditioning and cognition.
Right. And fear.
Beautifully keeping us safe when that is not in our highest and best good.
Right. Yeah. All the fears of being seen, being judged, being out there.
And fear of the unknown is one of the biggest, right? And so when you start to think about, okay, what are the things that are pulling me forward, like being an Akashic healer or whatever it is, it's so different that your brain goes, what?
Yeah.
And so...
So let's talk about this concept of discernment that I know you talk about.
Yeah.
What I found fascinating is that you don't call it a skill. You actually call it a state of being.
It's absolutely.
And I couldn't figure that out. Like, what does that mean?
Well, okay. So let's unpack that and think about that. Discernment is inner knowing, right?
Yep.
You could say that it is akin to claircognizance.
Yeah.
Or clear knowing.
Clear knowing,
And it is the mechanism by which you apply your clear knowing to the world is your discernment, right?
Yep.
And the more that we clear the distortion from our soul truths, the more we clear those fears, those karmas, those big gnarly patterns, then our discernment kicks up and wakes up and wakes up and wakes up. Right? And so and you stop questioning it.
Yes, I think that's the key. Okay, that's helpful, because I always think of discernment as like when let's say I meet someone new and I'm like, should I trust this person? This person seems friendly enough. They seem happy enough, but is there something in me, so my discernment, I think of it as like, that's why I always thought of it as a skill. I was so fascinated to hear that you call it a state of being, because it's like, I was like, well, I have to learn how to discern.
It's our natural state,
It
right?
is. Okay.
To be able to discern with like your complete clear soul truths of knowing.
To know it.
Because anytime there's a should in the back of your voice, right? That's something sticky. Like we don't have shoulds in our natural state. That's
just know
a little
it.
cognition.
We get the clear knowing.
I mean, everybody's intuition and discernment works a little bit differently, right?
Yep.
You could be more clear feeling or all of the other things.
Right.
But I think especially women feel this decision guilt for their decision.
Absolutely.
I can't give myself permission to do that. And so when you
absolutely.
really are more attuned to your path and kind of have worked through all of the biggest sticky blocks, none of that gets in the way of your discernment.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
and that's the next focus for when I come to Apollo.
Yes,
we're gonna wake up discernment and intuition.
Oh, I love that. I cannot wait, because like I said, I had a very profound experience in your last workshop, and I'm so excited to participate in the next one, which will be in June at Apollo Sunrise Center.
May 3rd is that next one.
May 3rd
and then
is the next one.
June
we're doing another one.
Play
Thank
more
you.
in letting people open their own Akashic Records and have that
that's
experience.
Right. Okay, thank you. Yes, May 3rd, 10 a.m.
coming up soon.
Apollo Sunrise Center in Merrimack, Massachusetts. And you can get all the information about Sarah and about what you'll learn and experience that day on the website, which is apollosunrise.com.
Hey, we're a good pair.
So,
I wouldn't have remembered the time, but I remembered the date. So between the two of us, we're good.
And then we'll have another experience in June that you'll be coming back for. So that is great.
Beautiful.
So for someone who's like hearing all this and going, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm being called to this. I'm trying to understand this discernment and how I can do this. Is there something that, maybe someone can do or anybody can do that would help us recognize and trust our intuition a little bit more in this aspect, or in the concept of discernment?
I always like to slow down and self-acknowledge, and this is some new habit forming.
Okay.
When you are feeling your discernment working, right? And so in that situation of meeting somebody new, let's say, what was your first thought of meeting that new person? Maybe you looked and you smiled at them and you're like, this is going to be freaking awesome.
Yeah, right.
And then your shits came in.
Yeah.
And so, but then when it is awesome, right?
Yep.
Go back into your mind and notice my discernment was there.
It was.
It was there.
Even if after that moment you've changed and you kind of went, I should be cautious,
and
or I
should. I like to continuously give myself some praise for my discernment.
Yeah.
And so when the clear knowing is there and then the clear knowing actualizes, I just say, it's working.
It's
working. It's working. It's working. More, please, universe. It's working.
Okay. So we need to pay attention to
slow down,
pay attention. When we first have that thought or that interaction, like you said, let's say someone new, like that's a good example. You meet someone new, you're like, should I trust this person? Should I not? It's like, what's the first thing that came to you? That's your discernment talking to you. And then what came next? Was it, should I put a wall up? Should I?
Or if something comes first and it doesn't feel, I'm going to say clean energetically.
Okay.
Then then you might go the converse first and be like, well, what is it that's blocking my discernment, right? That's what we'll do in the workshop a little bit.
That's terrific.
See if people can identify what blocks it.
What about for people, and many of us who are sensitive and grew up sensitive,
and
we carry everybody else's energy around with us, especially when it's people we love and care about, people we're close to that we might say, oh, this person is struggling or sick or, really needs a lot more love or a lot more attention, and we start taking on their energy. How can we filter through that?
Gosh, okay, that's a good question. I'm going to unpack that a couple of ways. Maybe one, like what we might ask in a person's Akashic Records around that,
yeah,
right?
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Soul contracts between you and that person. And oftentimes the Akashic record keeper, and I keep going like this, I've got my own records open just because I like to just,
But that's good to explain that, because people will
about
see
the
it
universe,
right.
we can ask. We would get to what that best first question is going to be about that situation. And so, I always ask the client to come a little bit prepared ahead of time. What do you want to ask about?
Right.
And then I'm listening for stickiness and language as they describe it.
Okay.
Right? So if they're using the language, if they're taking something on, or it's feeling really heavy, or any of that, then I'm going to ask the record keepers, does this relate to a bigger pattern in her life? Tell me what that pattern is, right? And then they might say something like they've got an unworthiness pattern, or they have trouble trusting other people, right? And then I'm going to talk to that person in real time. What's your relationship with trust around this person? We'll talk, we'll unpack it, and then I'm going to trace it in their Akashic Records back to the root origin cause. And that's when it might get into childhood, past life, ancestral, and the record keepers will just show us where to go with that.
And then the healing takes place. So that's really great because.
But energetic hygiene is what the second part is.
Let's explain that. I was saying this is really good for someone who doesn't know what to expect from the session with you, or from the class or the group, to know that, okay, so let's say, for example, I have this pattern with this person and I've been carrying it. I don't understand. You can just start with that, with listening to the question, the energy that comes from the client, and then take it from there, the next step, the next step, the next step.
So we ask clients to come up with 2 to 4 questions. Doesn't need to be exact phrase. Don't need to worry about that part
But it's the idea of it,
and a lot of times it's just not yours to begin with, right? You might be carrying some
a lot of us
ancestral patterns, or a lot of times there's energy ties to other people, which kind of brings up the energetic hygiene. But sometimes, for example, I had an Akashic record healing where she was having kind of some relationship situations with her husband, and he had a health episode about 2 or 3 years prior, and really absolutely feared leaving her, leaving the children. And so she had energetically absorbed that fear. And so she was repulsed in that relationship, like their closeness was kind of disintegrating because she had picked up his fear. So we unhook that energy cord, give it back to him. But energy hygiene every day, releasing everybody else's energies, protecting yourself. You're nodding your head. Tell me about what your practices are. It's
so
really important.
I mean, there are so many things that we can do. I think the important thing is to find what's easy and practical for you. Because if someone said I had to go through this, 30-minute practice every day to clear my energy, I probably wouldn't do it for more than a few days because, you just can't. But something like, taking the salt bath, with the Epsom salt.
I'm a huge float tank person too.
Oh, wow. I have not done that.
Talk about the big Epsom salt,
I have not done that. I'll do the bath, but things like that, walking in nature, getting cleared that way, using crystals, those kinds of things.
And I would say grounding into the earth, right? Totally ground. Gaia can take it all.
Right.
Or just naming the release out loud.
Oh, how would we do that?
So if I were in the records, I might use a little more Akashic coded wording. I might just say, Lords, masters, and teachers, please help me release anything in my physical, etheric, or auric field that is not in my highest and best good, that has come from another, please release it back to that person so we can both grow on our soul paths, or back to source for everyone's highest and best good.
Oh, that was perfect. Wow.
Yeah. That was a little lengthy.
Yeah,
but any words that come to you that have that same like flavor of intent, like it doesn't need to be nutty fancy.
Right.
Just move the energy out.
But you're asking for help from your spirit guides too, which I think is important for people to realize that they don't have to do it themselves. It's not because...
And now I'm burping because that's my energy moving in the world,
okay.
right? Because sometimes we got somatic responses to the energy.
You have that. And so I think because what happens is we've already taken on all this energy, and we feel like because we took it on, or we're carrying it because of someone else, because like I said, it might be someone we love and care about, we want to, try to help them in some way. We don't realize how much we've taken it on. We just know that we're exhausted or burnt out or whatever. And we think we have to release it all on our own.
And the other thing too is that it could be that other person is beautifully serving a role of, playing out you taking on their energy, so that they so that you can that's your lesson in this life, to learn how to release it.
Right, how to release it. So I love that, because your practice isn't just go stand outside or go to the beach. It's asking for help, and saying, okay, spirit, universe, whatever terminology you choose, whatever you're comfortable with, help me release this, or release this from me, take this from me,
And the more you practice that, the faster you get, and the more that you can, just move the energy out with your thought.
Yeah, I believe that too, because
absolutely.
If we don't do this, so I know definitely, at least I believe physical illness, certainly physical, emotional, drainage, but people, are wondering, why am I always, struggling with this same physical issue over and over again? I would look at something like that, within yourself, look at it within yourself. What's the energy behind it? What does it mean? And then being able to ask for help in the release and taking those steps can seem effortless and almost too easy, but it works.
It works.
It really does.
The Akashic Records can help with physical questions and ailments,
That's so good. Yeah.
They can cure a good headache, and if there's anything chronic.
Right, lifelong struggles. Well. It doesn't matter how long it's been, right?
I don't even feel the need to knock on wood, but the amount that I get colds, flu, ill, it's just not there anymore. Wow. Even though the rest of my house can be sick, because you're clearing, because I'm clearing constantly. I'm asking for it to be cleared.
Yeah. Wow.
I know, it's wild.
This is great. So what is it like when, let's say, how does it feel for you to be like truly aligned, like when you're aligned with your soul? So I think we know what it feels like when it's not, because we're again exhausted, burnt out, tired, aching, physically sick or something. We have all kinds of other issues going on, but we don't know what it's like to have that clarity, that soul alignment. And it's like we want it, but we don't know how to describe it.
I think we do all know, right? Because healing, anything we've been talking about, is remembering. And so your soul absolutely remembers.
Yes. Okay, got it.
And so it's really beautiful. It's weep-worthy. It's expansive. It's vast. When you feel that resonance with that soul truth, it absolutely can come like this wave of relief. Yeah. But also, it's really fun. It's fun.
That's true.
It's joyful.
Yeah.
It can feel much lighter, and things come easily, especially having a spiritual business, right? Businesses have Akashic Records too. You activate
I believe that.
Activate the contracts for your business, and then things just start to happen.
I love it.
And I also think, let's demystify, as the healers and sensitive and intuitives in the world, that we are still in a process of transforming, and I do not have it figured out, right? I just have the process in my heart in this divine tool of the Akashic Records that I am continuing to clear and attune and learn myself. So am I more aligned than I was 4 years ago? Yes.
Yeah.
Am I going to be even more in alignment 4 years from now? Hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the
Right?
journey.
So it's
That's the fun of the
layered.
journey.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
So we are, I mean, I can't believe it, but we're like out of time because it feels
That
like
went
we
by
just started talking. It went by very fast.
It usually
But
does.
I do want to just have you leave with people, not only how to contact you, how to find you, but also like maybe just one last little nugget of information, a little something that would stay with people.
Yeah. I'm going to tune in for a second here.
Okay.
You know, I think, so the record keepers are kind of telling me to talk about heart resonance.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Which is interesting. Didn't know that was going to happen. Don't know what heart resonance means.
Okay.
Except that everything that we've been talking about and every potential healing modality or tool is really designed to have you awaken and have more light in your heart. I will share a mantra that the record keepers gave me kind of back in the early days of my spiritual awakening. And it was, I open my heart to more light and I hold more light in my open heart. And so for months when I open my records, that is what I would say.
Yeah.
So think
That's
about
beautiful.
your heart, breathing into your heart. That's my final nugget. Yeah,
That is
it's
so beautiful. Thank you. I'm going to keep that too.
And then I am everywhere. I'm showing up at Apollo.
Yes.
I'm on Instagram at Boxless Coaching, and you can just email me, sarah@boxless.me. I'm sure there'll be show notes.
Yes.
So
yes, we will have all that information.
Oh, and I just started writing on Medium about the Akashic Records as a living, breathing field and giving some soul expansive words, because I channel a lot of words from the records too. So you can check that out.
You have an amazing gift, and I want to just take a moment to acknowledge you for sharing this gift with the world. I mean, you share a lot, and you share it in a way that is truly resonant, I think, for a lot of people, that they can hear it, they can understand it. You explain it very well. It's not like nebulous and, the quantum stuff, it's like you put it in a very good way. And
that makes me so happy.
Not only heard that today on the show, but also in the, in the workshops that you do as well. That's how you lead your workshop.
We're meant to use it and have it help us.
So, well, thank you for doing that. And thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you so much. I'll see you next time at Apollo.
Great. Yes, definitely.
Bye,
thank
everybody.
you. And thank you, all of you, for watching or listening here today on Rise, Heal, and Grow with Leah M. Hill. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe on whatever platform you're joining us on today. And if you'd like to be a guest, all you have to do is go to apollosunrise.com/podcast, and all the information is right there. So thank you for joining us, and hope to see you again soon.